Hi one and all, welcome to RPA course. So in the previous class we learned about assistant boards, also called as an front office boards, right? And we learned how we can able to monitor system event triggers and how we can able to monitor image and element triggers. So more specifically, remember whenever you want to monitor user events generally, whether you want to monitor system event or image or element events, the basic thing that you need to remember is you should place or you should add monitor events to the designer panel. More specifically, monitor events activity has to be added in order to monitor either whether you want to monitor system event triggers or image and element triggers, right? And at the same time, please remember monitor events is the activity which was present in UiPath Studio in the earlier version, more specifically in 2018 version. But in 2020 version, instead of monitor events, or this activity has been updated to an activity called triggering scope or trigger scope, right? We already have seen an example for this in the last class. So whether you use trigger scope or monitor events activity, remember it will have two sections, trigger section and handler section, right? So in higher version or in case of trigger scope, this is called as an actions section, this is called as an trigger section. Clear? So this was we learned in last class, and we learned with a simple example how to monitor for a click trigger, right? So these are the three triggers which comes under system trigger, and we learned what is their purpose individually, what is the purpose of hotkey, or when to use hotkey trigger, when to use mouse trigger, and when to use system trigger. We learned this in the last class, and even we learned how to monitor image and element triggers too, right? So in today's class we shall see an interesting example. We shall build an attended robot, or it is also called as an front office robot, in order to monitor an email activity, right? So first, before jumping into the example directly, first I will show you the actions that we are trying to do manually, and then we shall go back to the UiPath Studio in order to repeat those actions by the robot. Clear? Okay. So now I will jump into the tool. Sorry, not the tool. First I will show you what is the action that I am trying to make my robot to execute, right? So it should open a new browser. Okay, it should open a new browser, and it should type this URL www.gmail.com, and it should get a screen similar to this, and here it should enter the given mail ID, and then it has to click next, and then it has to enter the password. Okay, I'm not handling incorrect password, make a note on that. Click next, and after this we should give some delay because it has to load the inbox, right? So we need to add some delay. Okay, by looking at this what I can say, screens, right? Then once we get to the inbox, so here we want to monitor an activity called click trigger. Okay, click trigger. When this click trigger has been issued, then what it has to do is it has to type the destination mail ID, in this case a mail ID, and it has to give some what I can say, a subject. Okay, a subject, and then it has to click on send button, so that this mail will be sent to the inbox. Clear? Because here the sender and the destination are both the same, Bramesh SM in this case, hence it has to come back to the inbox. This is what I want to do, okay, by the robot. Clear? So did you understand what are the actions that I am trying to automate? So once again I will repeat. So first it has to launch. Okay, for better understanding, okay, I will remove this. Okay, then first it has to launch a new browser, and it has to enter the URL www.gmail.com, and then it should expect this screen. Remember, it should expect this screen, and then it should enter the given mail ID. Then it has to click next. Then it has to enter the password. Okay, given password. Then it has to click next. Okay, see, it needs a delay there. Did you observe? Immediately you will not get this screen from the previous screen. Hence, RPA developer has to think that, oh, some delay has to be introduced over there. Then now once we get to the inbox, now we want to monitor for an activity called click trigger or a click activity. Okay, means we are trying to monitor user action. Which action that we are trying to monitor? Click action, mouse left button click action, this action. So as soon as this has been issued or triggered, as soon as the user, in other words, as soon as the user presses the left mouse button on this, okay, then it has to execute certain actions. Okay, what are those steps it has to execute? It has to enter the destination mail ID as same source mail ID. Then it has to enter some subject. Okay, then it has to click send. So this is what I am trying to do. Clear? Now we shall go to the designer panel, and we shall see the actions that has been placed in the designer panel. Okay, now in order to save the time, I already have placed the actions or the activities that is required in order to automate the task that just I did manually. Clear? Okay, so this is our designer panel. Okay, now just have a look at here. So what was the first action that I performed on my system? I open a new browser. Okay, that browser, after opening a new browser, okay, it should enter the domain name or URL as www.gmail.com, and remember here the browser type has been chosen as Chrome. By default it will be set to Internet Explorer, so it is your wish, or it depends on the requirement to choose, but here I have chosen Chrome. Clear? Then after that, once a browser has been opened, then we have to specify or place the activities depending on the requirement in the do section. Then what it has to do, then an input dialog has to be issued to the user, okay, asking for username, and here we have created a variables called username and password. This is the purpose of this username variable is to hold a username entered by the user, and this password variable is used to hold a password entered by the user. Okay, see, this first input dialog box will ask the user to enter the username, and that entered username will be stored in a variable called username. Can you see in the hints? Can you see username, or directly you can able to see here username, and that username has to be entered or typed into where it has to be typed into. I will show you where it has to type that. Okay, where it has to type that. Okay, here it has to type that, and then it has to click next. Okay, that's what here type into that email or phone section. Then after that it has to click next. Clear? Then after that, see here, after this we will get one more screen which will accept the password, right? That's what we are doing. That's why to ask the password from the user, we are taking one more input dialog box, okay, asking for the password, and store that password in a variable called pass. So I have already shown you, we have created two variables here, to one variable called username to store the username of the user, and pass keyword variable is used to store the password entered by the user. Clear? And that password should be entered to the password field. This field has to be entered to the password field, and then we have to click next, and then we have to click next. Can you see here? Click next. Okay, then why we need some delay here? See here, delay has been 30 seconds. I have given a delay of 30 seconds. I hope you have remembered. Delay has to be mentioned in terms of HH colon colon seconds, hour, minute, seconds. It's a normal convention that will be used by us in order to represent the time, right? So 30 seconds of the delay that I have given here. So it depends the value, whether 30 seconds or 25 seconds or 60 seconds, sometimes 1 minute. It depends on what I can say, the scenario. Clear? Okay, so introduce some delay over there. Then I will show you here. So yeah, when we enter the password. Okay, and one more thing before going to the next concept. See, this password field entered by the user should be hidden, right? So to do that, so in the, what I can say, in the input dialog box where we will ask password, can you see here in the property window of that input dialog box, there is a checkbox called is password. If you tick this, then the value entered in that dialog box by the user will be hidden. Okay, otherwise it will be displayed. Clear? So make sure that for the password field, the property called is password, okay, it should be turned on. Clear? Okay, now so when the user enters the password, and when the user click next, there will be some delay. Can you see here? Immediately will not go to the inbox. There will be, now inbox is ready. Clear? So that's what to see. You need to observe this. You need to observe this. Okay, when you are doing manually. Okay, clear? So after observing this, you take an average of the delay, or do some exercise to find out the proper actual value of that delay, so and specify it over here. Just I am randomly have specified the delay as 30 seconds here. Clear? Okay, then after that, see here this is the place where we are monitoring for an event. Clear? So I have already mentioned you that instead of monitor event activity which was there in earlier version of UiPath Studio, you have to place a trigger scope here instead of monitor event, and usually it will have two sections, a trigger section and action section. So here, as I said, with the requirement is we want to monitor for a click trigger. So when the user clicks or presses left mouse button on this compose button, then it should perform the actions specified in the action section. So what are the actions? Again, here first we are asking for, we are using input dialog activity asking for the destination mail ID, and here we have created a variable called destination email ID to store the recipient email ID, and subject to store the subject of the mail. Okay, that destination email ID has to be entered where? In the compose section. I will show you. See, when the user clicks left mouse button, okay, and this action, click left mouse button click action, has to be monitored. That's what our requirement was, and hence we placed that click trigger inside trigger section of the trigger scope. Clear? I hope you understood what I am telling. Clear? Okay, then once it observes or once it monitors, then an input dialog box has to appear. Then the user will enter the mail ID, then that mail ID has to be entered over here. Then another input dialog box has to be popped up, and the user will enter some subject like this. That subject has to be entered over here. Then finally it has to click on send. Clear? Okay, that's what we are doing here. Clear? So again, input dialog box has to be popped up or displayed to the user asking for the subject, and store that in a variable called subject, and then write that subject into the subject field. Then once we enter that subject, then click send, and this is a message box that we have used for our convenience to say that the task has been completed. Clear? Okay, now we shall see whether our robot will work or will do the actions that I did by manually. So I will remove this. Okay, I will close this. Okay, I have only one instance of the Chrome. See here, one instance. Now what actually our robot has to do, as I said in the beginning, it has to open a browser. Just shall we test this? Okay, we shall check this. Okay, robot, and I'm not doing anything. Okay, see, this is very important. So make sure that this window is maximized manually, and click try again, so that this screen should be you should be able to view this screen, because this is the instance of the screen that we have used in order to build the robot. Clear? In coming classes, that is also an interesting I will tell you how to come up overcome these issues. Int is selectors. I have already told you the job of selectors. Again, you can use a proper selectors in order to select the proper field. Clear? Okay. Now this is the input dialog box. First input dialog box. This one. First input dialog box, which will ask for username. Okay. Okay. I will go back to this. Okay. Input. Okay. The input I will give as my mail ID itself. Okay. Then I will click OK. Once I click OK, then see here robot is taking over. See, we call this as an assistant bot. See, if I don't provide the input to this dialog box, then robot will be still in the execution mode. So it can't able to proceed or it can't able to go to the next steps. That's what attended robot means. Clear? Okay. I will enter the password as okay. As I said, it's confidential. So okay. See here, that if you have ticked that checkbox, then the value that I have entered will be hidden. Clear? Okay, click OK. Then password has been entered. So, the robot has clicked next. A delay has to be introduced. Okay, inbox is ready. So I have to wait for 30 seconds. Correct now? But I hope I got inbox page before 30 seconds. So that's why I'm waiting for a few seconds to expire. Okay, because then only see here, it is not doing anything. It is not doing anything. It is not doing anything now, and the robot is still in execution mode unless the user provides the input. Can you see? Can you see? Now it has monitored a left mouse button. Click on this button, and in the action section we have specified this. It should ask for the destination mail ID. It should ask for the destination mail ID, and then it should ask for the subject. Then it has to click send. Okay, can you see here? Can you see here? Okay, a message has been sent automatically by the robot, and this is what I said. This is the dialog box that we have used in order for our, just for our confirmation. Clear? Okay, clear? Okay, and the robot will be still in execution mode. I will tell you, and moreover you already know that Y means the scheduler of the triggering scope or the actions. Okay, here actions. Okay, see here, sequential. So if you set this to one time, then it will terminate the robot will stop its execution. Clear? So this is a simple example which demonstrate how we can able to handle user events, or in other words, it also has shown that how we can able to build assistant bots. Clear? Okay, so this the exactly a little bit with modified version here. It is present in the presentation. Either you can follow the steps present in the presentation, or just watch the video and just follow the instructions given in the video, and please try to build the assistant bot which will monitor an email, so that you will better understand what is actually a trigger means, how to place those actions. Okay, obviously you have two ways to specify the actions. Here actions in the sequence. Okay, either you can use desktop recording, or you can record the steps manually one by one. I hope you already have learned this, how to record the steps manually or automatically. It's your wish. Okay, but if you go manually, you will learn better. Okay, if you find difficulty in manual recording, then you can go for desktop recording mode. Clear? Okay, so just there is a steps here. As I said, you can follow these steps. Okay, or follow the instructions given in this video. Clear? Okay, and the next concept which is there in the textbook is one more example for monitoring for a copy event and then blocking it, the copy operation. Okay, so I won't demonstrate this. This is an exercise for you people. So just follow the steps given in the presentation and try to implement this example, so that you will have better knowledge of attended boards. Clear? Okay, again, if you find any difficulty in implementing this, you can please ask me, so that I can build my own robot to explain this example. Clear? So in the next class, we shall see or we shall learn how we can able to launch an assistant board on a keyboard event. Okay, which is the last concept of chapter 7. Clear? Okay, after completing that, we shall start with chapter 8 in the next class. Clear? Okay, so before concluding, just I will recall what we learned in this class or in this session is just we learned with a simple example how we can able to monitor the user actions, or in other words, you can take the same example as an example for building assistant board. Clear? So in the coming class, as I said, we shall discuss the last concept called launching an assistant board on keyboard event of chapter 7, and then we shall go ahead with chapter 8. Clear? Okay, if you have any doubt regarding this, so you can please contact me. Thank you one and all.